To be honest, I wish I titled this talk differently. I needed a fancy title to put on the website, but I think it's really, this talk is more about how you guys can try to convert more people into customers, right? And that's through marketing. So to tell you guys a little bit about me, I started at Atlassian literally a month ago. I think this is my 5th week. So I'm still kind of getting started, still trying to meet all you guys, and there's lots of people to meet, as it turns out. I'm the product marketing manager for the dev ecosystem, which I've kind of interpreted as the advocate for you guys. So I think of my job as making you all successful. If you're a commercial plugin developer, getting you guys more sales and getting you guys more customers and getting you in front of our customers more. You know, as Scott showed earlier today, we have 20,000 customers, and I'm sure each of you would love to have a piece of that pie. You know, so I formerly was a software engineer and a consultant at a company called Cloudera, which is in Palo Alto, doing this software called Hadoop. I like to cycle, snowboard, and my email address is here, and it will also be listed later. So really, again, today is about you guys, and it's about how you can market your plugin. And what that means kind of in this context is figuring out how to get people to purchase your software, I think. We'll introduce this thing called sales funnel, and it'll make a little more sense as we get there. So if you look at a development life cycle, sure, maybe this is kind of hand-wavy because there's so many different life cycles out there. I just tried to put up an example. But everything starts with defining a problem, right? You all, before you created your first plugin, or as you're maybe thinking about making your first plugin, you have an idea. You solve that idea with software. You launch that software, right, in the form of a tarball or an RPM or something like that. And then you iterate bug fixes, new features, new launches. You're trying to acquire users all throughout the while. And you measure things. You see how you're doing, how much money you need to make in order to pay the bills, etc. What we're going to talk about today are these three: launching, acquiring users, and measurement. I think it's very clear that the other three items, defining the problem, solving that problem, and iterating, you guys are already really good at. So I'm not going to cover that at all, just mainly the marketing stuff. So what that kind of comes down to is we'll talk about some marketing basics, and I'll define this thing called a sales funnel, which is a really common terminology for marketing. We'll go into user acquisition, how to get users to your website, how to get users involved, how to really attract people. We'll go into press and product launch advice, just if you have a new plugin or if you have an update to a plugin, how you can launch that. And finally, how you can convert customers. And the other thing I should say too is, if you guys have any questions throughout the talk, just go for it. I'd love to have a dialogue throughout, or I can take questions afterwards, whatever works. It might be easier to do afterwards, but either way. Cool. So jumping right in. Let's talk about the sales funnel. This is a photo of a dam, which is at its limit. You know, these dams typically have these big funnels that collect water if the water gets to a certain level. So I thought that was a relevant photo. So anyway, so sales funnel. Again, what a sales funnel is it's kind of a common terminology for thinking about marketing and thinking about how to create more buzz around your product and how to create more sales. And what I'm going to show you here is an example sales funnel. Each company and each person has their own kind of funnel, as we'll see later. But really, what you want to start off with is you want to think about what the goal is for your customers, right, or for your users. The end goal for you guys is to try to sell a plugin, right? That's the ultimate goal. You want someone to purchase your plugin, right? But there are lots of things that need to happen before someone actually purchases your plugin. And one of those things might be evaluation, right? One of the things that Atlassian really pushes for is trying to drive people to evaluate our products, right? If we think that if people are evaluating, not only are they going to get a fair understanding of what our products do, but they'll also, they're getting one step closer to purchasing, right? So as we'll see, this funnel is going to grow up, and it's going to show kind of the steps that these users kind of go through to get to ultimately purchasing something. So maybe what comes before evaluation is some sort of website action, right? Try now button, or get started now, or some actionable thing on your website. And clearly before that would be a website visit, right? You need someone to visit your website before you can give them a call to action, before they try to evaluate something, before they eventually start trying to purchase something. And finally, on the top of the funnel, we see just outbound marketing, right? Trying to blog about what your product does or your plugin does. Trying to do a search engine optimization to get more people to your website. And so again, like some of this might be obvious for you guys, but throughout the talk, I'm going to go and reference this, and I think it'll make a lot of sense, and it'll really help you think about how you can get people from one step to the other. Because the reason why this is a funnel, and not a cylinder or something, is because there are significantly less people purchasing your software than reading about you on TechCrunch or viewing your website or something like that. And so it's the funnel of trying to get people down to purchasing. So there's some things to take away from this, and perhaps they're obvious. Each of these is dependent on the previous, right? You cannot have someone visit your website unless they Googled you, or unless they read a blog, or unless they heard about you or something like that. And also, each of these feed into the next, right? This is not necessarily always true. Like perhaps someone will purchase your plugin without evaluating it first. But for the most part, people go down the funnel, right? I mean, there's some jumping around, but again, there's a smaller audience further down, and really what your goal here is to try to convert as many people on the outbound marketing side, blogging, tweeting, SEO, and then website visits, to convert as many of those people as possible to purchase. That's your ultimate goal. And you'll see too that in each of these steps, there's kind of a conversion, right? And at Atlassian, we've kind of developed the tools to really measure this, and there are tools that I'll show later that can help you measure them. But the idea is that you want to get as many people going down the funnel as possible. The ideal shape is a cylinder, right? But it's always a funnel. So with that said, I'm going to constantly refer back to this sales funnel kind of analogy, and as we go. So first, we'll talk about how to win users. This was a photo taken in this year's Tour de France. That's Mark Cavendish on winning one of his stages. So, user acquisition. Talk about sending the right message, what you should try to tell your users. Search engine optimization, which is it's this voodoo that is performing well in search engines. We'll talk about videos and how they can be a really handy way of trying to get people engaged on your website. And then finally, open source initiatives, and also worldly development. Can I take questions at the end? Do you mind? Yeah, I think that'll be easier. Thanks. So, talking about sending the right message. So, really, what it comes down to, and I know this is obvious, but you gotta always think about your customer, right? And what I mean by that is it's a psychology. You really need to think in terms of your customer. I took this entrepreneurship class in college, and my professor was this really insightful guy, and I was up in front of the class telling them what I thought the website I was making should do. I was like, well, I think the customer doesn't want a forum, or I think the customer is going to do this. And he said, Alex, stop. It should be the customer wants this, or the customer wants a forum. So you always need to put things in terms of the customer, right? You need to ask yourself, why is someone going to try your plugin, right? And moreover, why are they going to purchase it after trying it? These are things that you should always be asking yourself whenever you're making your website, whenever you're doing press media, whenever you're doing blogs, coming up with a name, creating a price. You always need to be thinking about this. And I know this might sound obvious, but we always forget to, right? I was a software engineer for 2 years, and it was so easy for me to just get involved in the technical challenge that I never kind of took my head out and thought about these things. What is the user actually going to, why are they going to want to try something? So I have an example here with online real estate websites. What I didn't tell you guys is that before Cloudera, I was at Redfin, which is an online real estate company. So I use them as an example because I think they have a cool website. But what I want to show you guys here is the Redfin homepage. So the Redfin homepage very clearly is trying to get users to be confident in their real estate agents. You see on their heading, experienced agents. You have a photo of a couple really happy, they just bought a home, right? And then you have a nice looking agent on the right, right? Redfin wants badly to make you feel like they have experienced real estate agents, right? And so if you think about this in terms of the funnel, what my take is, and again, I haven't worked at Redfin for a while, I have no idea what they're thinking inside, but my take on this is that they know that people associate Redfin with search, and that people associate Redfin with looking for homes. So now they're trying to think of how to convert people from these people looking for homes to people wanting to buy homes, right? So in the funnel that is Redfin, maybe that's what they've kind of thought of internally. So they're trying to take users who they know come to their site to search and move them down one step closer to purchasing a home by telling them how experienced their real estate agents are. On the flip side, if we look at a competitor to Redfin, Zip Realty, their website has a completely different emphasis, right? This website is all about search. Their promotion on the homepage is their iPhone application, which searches homes, and also the main real estate there is this big orange box asking you to search. So what I kind of take away from this compared to Redfin is that these guys are trying to get more people searching for homes. Maybe Redfin has won that battle, and they're trying to compete with Redfin by driving people more to the search. So, kind of taking a step back and relating this back to psychology. Again, the big difference here is that Redfin knows that people come to their site because it's good at search, and they're trying to convert people to go one step down the funnel to get them to be more confident in purchasing a home. And similarly here, Zip is thinking more on top of the funnel, right? Just trying to get people engaged in their website. So again, it's a psychology. You want to try to figure out what your users want and how you can kind of move them down the funnel. And these are hopefully two interesting examples on how you can do that. Okay, search engine optimization. I'm sure many of you have heard of SEO. It's basically the way that your website performs in a search engine. Excuse me. People will type in a keyword and they will see some set of results. For example, I think if you type issue tracker, Jira shows up, so that means we have good search engine optimization. And really, I think you guys all know this, especially all of us being techies, right? We all go to the search engine before to try to find something. Usually, I don't even type in, Amazon.com. Well, for Amazon I will, but for a lot of websites, I'll just type their name and then click on it in Google. Like tons and tons of people are going to search, specifically to a search engine, before they even try to do any other research, right? So I guess what this all comes down to is that if you perform really well in Google or in Bing or whatever, then you have a huge audience that you're opening yourself up to. Like if you type in I don't know, Jira time tracking, right? And your time tracker, and then your plugin comes up at the top, you're going to have a ton of clicks. I'll show you some data about this later, but it's insanely advantageous to try to perform well in Google. And there's this huge voodoo. Sorry, I keep saying Google. I should be agnostic. Search engines. There's this huge voodoo with how search engine optimization works, and it's probably 10 talks to really go into it, but I'll try to give you just kind of the tip of the iceberg, right? First of all, what you need to do is you need to figure out which keywords are relevant to you and are relevant to your plugin and your product, right? Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes if, let's say, your product is a Subversion plugin for Jira, then your keywords are Subversion, Jira, and then maybe, I don't know, issue tracker, maybe source control or something like that. So a lot of times these keywords are really obvious. Maybe some other times they're not, though. You really got to think critically about which keywords are relevant and how people are going to search for you on the search engines. And then when you choose these keywords, you got to put these keywords at the very least in your title. So if you look at if you look at the title of Atlassian, it's not Atlassian. It's actually, I don't actually remember, I have an example coming up, but I think it's issue trackers and developer tools, right? Or I don't remember, but it's, you gotta really put those keywords into the title. The same thing goes with headings, right? You always, like H1, if you were to like if you were to try to be Google or Bing and try to actually implement a search engine, how would you try to associate a page to a keyword, right? I would look at the title, I would look at the headings, and I would look at the link anchor text that people link to my site from, right? So you always need those keywords to be in these various places, including the URL. So and again, SEO is this huge monster. There's so much more to it than just this. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and I have some links later which I'll show you. But let me show you an example of Redfin again, because I know that they invest a lot in search engine optimization. So if you look at their title of their page, they have find homes for sale, experienced real estate agents, and then Redfin. So clearly, their two most important keywords, the things that they want to perform best in the search engines, are find homes for sale and experienced real estate agents. Those are the things that they care about, right? And so by putting that in the title, you're only going to perform better in search engines. And let's face it, I don't even remember the last time I looked at a title. So it's not like you're trading off user experience here. I mean, Google Chrome doesn't even show the title, right? If you look at Amazon, if you look at Atlassian, if you look at lots of these companies with good marketing departments, they all have a title like this. So it's really important. The same thing goes with headings, right? Experienced agents. They don't put Redfin search or something like that, right? People know this is Redfin. So use an H1, use a heading that's relevant. Also, I apologize. I know this is small. I tried to blow it up, and it just got really blurry and awful. But what you see here is this is actually a screenshot from the bottom of Redfin's page. I bet no one ever clicks on these links. But what the links say is Atlanta real estate agent, Boston real estate agents, Chicago real estate agents. These are the people that people are going to be searching, these are the keywords that people are going to be searching for, right? If I want to go buy a home in Seattle, I'm going to type in Seattle real estate agents or Seattle homes for sale, right? And what Redfin's doing here is the link text that they're using that to describe the page that's being linked to. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I was CNN.com, right? And I had a link to, I don't know, let me think of an example. I had a link to the Wikipedia page for search engine optimization. And if I put in my link anchor text search engine optimization, so like if the link that I put on CNN.com was search engine optimization, then Google will very likely, like that's one way to tell, sorry I keep saying Google, that's one way to tell the search engines what it is that content is about, right? And even more so, even better than that, that's lots of people describing what the keywords are for a given website, as opposed to just trusting that website solely, right? So you can use this on your website and when you're blogging and when you're tweeting to try to associate keywords with pages that you're trying to promote effectively. So always think about link anchor text. It's super important. So the other takeaway with search engine optimization is again, you've got to iterate. It's like anything. You got to pick keywords that you care about, and then you got to use this tool called Google Analytics to see how you perform. Real quick, has anyone not heard of Google Analytics? Oh man, I was going to do a demo, but maybe it's I'll do a demo. Does that sound good? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So then you got to use Google Analytics to see how you perform. You got to tweak all this. You got to blog. You got to change your link anchor text. You got to change your titles. You got to repeat all this, and the whole time you got to be thinking about your funnel. You got to be thinking about what page, what people are thinking on the page they're visiting, and how you can get them one step lower in the funnel. So let me quickly do a Google Analytics demo. Now, the other thing I like about this demo is that I'm going to show you guys my blog, and there's some funny, as Scott already showed in that photo of me, there's some funny stuff on my blog. So here's my blog, alexlod.com. As you see, it's really popular. for those in the back, I had 39 visits on October 7th. Pretty big deal. I know. What I want to show you guys is all this stuff on the left here. So I can click on visitors, and I can get a breakdown of how many users I've had for a given month, how many of them are unique, the time they spend on the site, the bounce rate, which is effectively the percentage of people that leave after just viewing one page, which apparently kind of sucks on my blog. I can also set this for a year if I wanted to, 3 days, whatever. And there's just tons and tons of stuff in here. So I can get a map overlay. I can see that most of my traffic is coming from the United States. Some is coming from Russia. Some from Australia. Let's see what other cool stuff is in here. I'll show you guys traffic sources. This is the funny one. You guys are gonna laugh. I get a breakdown of how much of the traffic is direct. So people typing in alexlog.com and then hitting enter. How much of it is referred, right, from Twitter, from other websites, and how much of it comes from search engines. I can also go down here, and this is what's really cool. I can click on keywords, and if I scroll down here, I can see the keywords that people are typing to get to my page. So the top keyword, for those of you that can't read it, is Google APM. When I was in college, I interviewed for the Google APM position, and I blogged about it. And apparently no one else did, and my blog is like the top hit or whatever. I actually got in trouble for that blog too, for what it's worth. But there's all sorts of things. There's my name there. There's salaries at Cloudera. I did not blog about that. There's some funny ones in here that I want to show you guys. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. How to get weed across the border. Let me tell you the quick story. I was the president of the snowboard team in college, and I took to Canada these two guys who I never knew before. And before we go up, I'm like, you guys aren't doing anything stupid, right? They're like, yeah, we're not doing anything stupid. And we get to the border, and the woman asks us, and normally going into Canada, they just like, they just let you go. I've had them not even check my passport before. But then they ask us, have you been committed of any crimes lately? And I'm like, no. And this guy's like, yes. I'm just thinking like, uh-oh, what did this guy do? She says, what'd you do? And he says, possession of marijuana. And then I'm thinking like, all right, we're screwed. And what ends up happening is we get caught at the border for 5 hours. They search my car. They find marijuana in his bag. Like it's this whole. I didn't get in trouble at all. It was all him, and I'll never be friends with him again. But so anyway,
So wait, you are not supposed to tell that you have been.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, you can get a feel for what people are looking at your website for. I'll show a little bit more here. There's you can see top content, so you can see what on your blog post is performing, what on your website is performing really well. So for me, it's recently, I guess, because school just started, I wrote a blog post about how the University of Washington, which is where I went to school, how they could be doing a better job. The Google post is doing well. Lots of stuff here. If you click on these things, excuse me, if you click on these, you get the time people spent on the page. So 2 minutes means that they probably read at least some of it. So anyway, you get tons and tons of information here about how people are using your website. And I've only showed you kind of the main tool in here. There's lots and lots more to it, and it's free. To set this up, all you do is create an account and put a little JavaScript tracker on the bottom of your source code on every page, and then it's done. It happens for you. It's a piece of cake, and there's also actually, I'm really scared to show you guys this because sometimes it breaks my browser, but I'll show you guys a site overlay. So this is my blog. It shows you what people are clicking on. So you see 18% of people clicked here, 18 there, 23 there, no one clicked there. I did that blog today. I wrote this blog post about stock options. Some people clicked on that. So you can really see what people are clicking on. It's really cool. It's super, super handy. And there's just lots in here. So it's free. There's no reason not to use Google Analytics. So I highly recommend doing it. How am I doing on time? I gotta go a little faster. So let's go back to the slides here. So some required reading. The Wikipedia page for search engine optimization is super handy. Lots of good information there. SEO Moz is kind of like the go-to SEO experts. They have a blog that's really handy, and you can pay them to come in and help you with your various SEO concerns. Also, these slides I put up on SlideShare, and I put them on the AtlasCamp Confluence Talks page. So this is all there. You don't need to be writing feverishly. PageRank, especially for you techies out there, like this is one of the main algorithms behind Google's the way that they do their relevance, right? So it's a really neat algorithm, and that's also a good read. And there's also a Google keyword tool, which you guys should check out. So moving on, we're still talking about user acquisition and how we can get more users to our website. One of the things you guys got to take advantage of, and I'm sure that most of you have heard of the plugin exchange, but I'll plug it here anyway, is Pack, which is short for plugins.atlassian.com. I highly recommend that you upload your plugin to Pack, because lots of people come to Pack to install plugins, right? And also, Pack performs really well in Google. So not only will this kind of help your website's SEO by being by Pack being an intermediary between your website, but it'll also drive more people to your website, right? Effectively, because lots of our customers come to Pack. In fact, I would say majority of our customers looking for plugins come to Pack to find them. So upload your plugin. It's free. It's completely advantageous to do this. And think really critically about the content, right? Make sure that the name's good, link anchor texts, like I said earlier, are good, descriptions, etc. To add a plugin, if you go to the plugins.atlassian.com, there's a little link at the bottom right. It takes you through a nice, easy to use wizard. And then if I look at a winning Pack page, what I'm showing you here is the Jira Subversion plugin. And this is the most popular plugin. It's been downloaded 39,000 times, and it's the most popular in web traffic as well. I looked at our Google Analytics to figure that out. And so if you see here, there's a super descriptive title, Jira Subversion plugin. It's keyworded, right? I don't know what else you could, how better you could name this in terms of keywords that you're interested in. There are screenshots which give people a really easy opportunity to look at your plugin, right? Highly recommend doing screenshots, and as we'll see in a slide, videos are even better. Great useful links, and the feature tour is super handy. Again, you want to try to give people the information they need on this page so they can either make the decision to try to install it, to evaluate it, to maybe give your website a better look. Like it's a huge win to upload to Pack. There's no reason not to do it. So quick case study on videos. Again, we're talking about trying to get users down the funnel. Atlassian has had huge success with videos. If you guys look through our website, we have videos everywhere. Our product pages have videos. They're everywhere. And what we found is that lots and lots of people will watch these videos. So it's a huge win to be able to put a video which can do so much in terms of telling a user what it is your product does, right? It can do so much for that. Put it on your website, right? Upload it to YouTube, to Yalla, whatever. Make it just a few minutes. If it's 15 minutes, not that many people are going to watch the whole thing. Maybe at the most do 5 minutes, but even better, do 2 minutes. And put that video in a place where people are going to watch it, because people will watch it, right? We use this analytic tool, I'm forgetting the name, to tell us which videos perform well, and they perform really well. People watch the videos, so it's a great way to try to tour your product, and I highly recommend doing it. We also, Mark, the guy who you saw in the other room doing the video, he gave, I think, a 3-part blog post about how to edit videos, right? And so if you follow this link here at the bottom, hopefully that can help you create these videos and in an easier way. So a few quick things. One thing you should try to do to try to get more users is tackle open source. I don't know if you've noticed, but Atlassian is used all over the place in the open source community. Apache uses it, MongoDB, MuleForge, there's tons more. And if you guys can go to these foundations and say, hey man, I'll give you my plugin for free, and I think it's going to help you for X, Y, Z reasons, then that means that your plugin is going to get in front of lots of users, right? Like Apache, I mean, I worked on Hadoop, which is just one project in Apache. I think there were probably, I don't know, close to 1,000 people that would view that Jira instance. So it's insanely advantageous to try to get your plugin on these open source projects, and they're not going to pay for it. So if you can get it there, it's just more people that your plugin is in front of, right? So if you do a Google search for Powered by Jira or Confluence, you can get a list there. Also, some advice on just kind of worldly development. I had there's this one guy at Cloudera, this guy named Todd Lipcon, who is just like known by everyone. He's just this insanely smart, vocal developer who's kind of built his own brand, right? And in doing so, he's kind of promoting Cloudera, right? Which is where he works. And so try to involve yourself in the entire software development community, right? Like, go on to some of the software development blogs and comment on them. Get yourself involved. Get your name out there, right? Not just open source stuff, not just Atlassian, not just Java, but everything. Like, really try to be a worthy developer. Be a technical leader. If you solve a cool problem, blog about it, right? People love reading that stuff. Really, more popularity for you as an individual means more success for your plugin. And I know that you guys are already doing awesome things. And so it's just about kind of, getting more involved in the community. So that also kind of segues into the ecosystem here. If you're an ecosystem champion, and one of the things that I heard someone say yesterday, I forget, but basically, like, we should all work together, guys, because if someone's looking for a time tracking plugin and maybe a workflow plugin, well, if they go to the workflow plugin guy and they say, like, and the workflow plugin guy says, oh, hey, go talk to this guy about time tracking, right? We can all be salesmen for each other. So really involving yourself in the ecosystem is completely advantageous. Get involved in the forums. Come to AtlasCamp. Good job on that one. And it'll really help. So I really got to start moving fast. So launching a product. Let's say you have a new product or a product update. These are some things that can help you. Prepare some material, email bloggers, become active in the discussion. So bloggers, they need material, right? If you actually get the eye of a blogger, they want to know exactly what you're doing in as little amount of time as possible. And if you take too long to tell them that, then they're probably going to lose interest and go away. So provide press material on your website, right? Provide the description of your business, the description of your product. Give them logos. Give them a frequently asked question. Make the blogger's job easy. That's what that comes down to, right? Is make it easy for someone to blog about your company, about your plugin, your product, whatever. And the other thing is that, realize this, that like bloggers can't find you. Like sorry, I don't mean this to like be belittling, but like, if you're little, like be loud, right? It's not, bloggers want content. They want to be able to write about interesting things. And so if you think a particular blogger is going to be interested in your plugin, just email them, right? I mean, sure, it sounds a little scary to like maybe email one of these famous TechCrunch bloggers or ReadWriteWeb or whatever, but who knows? Email them. There's no harm in that, right? But think critically about that email. If you have like a 2-page email, it's very unlikely that they're gonna read the whole thing. Try to be very conscious about what you're writing. And if it truly is material that they're going to be interested in, they'll be grateful, right? They want material, and you're giving it to them, right? So just keep that in mind. And also maybe consider working with a PR firm. A lot of people do that to try to, because PR firms typically have good connections in the ecosystem. So quickly, some required reading. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book was written in the 30s, and it's a classic. It's kind of about how to win friends and influence people, right? And it would be handy to kind of know if you were gonna try to contact bloggers. Okay, so the blog and Twitter sphere. Another thing that you can do to try to promote your product when you launch it is just get involved, right? Set up Google alerts on competitors. Twitter safe searches, use Technorati, whatever it is you use to try to learn what's out there, and get involved in the discussion. If there's a relevant discussion, go in, give your share, and then also maybe promote your plugin. But be relevant, don't spam, and really get involved, right? Don't astroturf. What astroturfing is commenting like, cool post, here's my plugin, right? Like, that's not getting involved. Like, really get involved. Maybe offer feedback, offer a different perspective, and people through these blogs will find your product and will find your release. Right, Pack Revisited. Whenever you upload a plugin or an update, it gets highlighted and featured in Pack. Right, so and also eventually in the Universal Plugin Manager, which is going to come, it's going to ship with the newest version of Jira and Confluence. Also, the marketing team loves guest blog posts. You know, we've done a ton of guest blog posts for a lot of plugins, and we'd love to continue to do them. So send us an email. Let us know how we can help there. If you have a launch and you want us to do a guest blog post, you know, shoot us an email. We'll see what we can do. Cool. So last section, I think I'm going to make it by 4. Closing the sale. This was like the craziest wave ever surfed by Larry Hamilton. This is in Tahiti, actually. So first off, sorry. Let me take a step back. What this section is about kind of the bottom of the function, or the bottom of the funnel, right? Trying to convert people who have interest in your plugin and you know are on your website and trying to actually close them to purchase it, right? So first off, make your product or your plugin easy to try. Evaluations are a win-win, right? And they're the first part of kind of the engagement funnel, right? They're the first way to try to get people that much closer to purchasing. There's no such thing as too many evaluations. If the product's good, evaluations will convert to sales. And if the products, and if they don't convert, then you'll learn. You'll either learn how to make the product better, or you'll learn how to try to more effectively convert people to purchase, right? So really there's no reason not to do an evaluation. It's not like you're giving something away. I mean, like put yourself in the shoes of the customer, right? If you were wanting to buy some software, you would want to try it first, right? So evaluations are a huge win. Screenshots, videos, tours, all that. And also think critically about pricing. Now, a lot of people don't really do this. They just kind of put a price on something and put it out there. But really, price, it's a feature, right? You need to make your product easy to try and then to buy, right? If you look at Atlassian, it's free or it's really cheap with our starter licenses to get started, to try. And our products are priced for expense reports, right? They're priced low so that people can purchase them without having to do a purchase order, without having to get the legal team involved, right? It's a good way to try to break into a company, right? And I think there's kind of a lot to learn there. So they're also structured against lock-in, free for open source. The point is that you really think of price as a feature, right? Price is one of the ways in which people are going to purchase or not purchase your product. And so it's not just, you can't just put a number out there. You really need to think about it. Think about how it fits into the ecosystem and all that. So that's my talk. Some acknowledgements real quick. Heldy of Balsamic did a really good blog post, which I kind of referenced as I was going through this. Jonathan Nolan, Dan Rosen, and Daniel Freeman all helped me as well. And also what I should say too is that I'm going to be here as well as Daniel Freeman. Daniel, if you want to raise your hand. Daniel's the director of product marketing. If you guys have any questions about marketing, let us know. Let him know. There's also Ryan Anderson, if you want to raise your hand, also on the product marketing team. Some more required reading. Micro ISV is and Heldy recommended this as well. It's a super good book on just thinking about how you can be a successful ISV. And the last thing I'll say too is that at Atlassian, we want you guys to succeed, right? Like that's what AtlasCamp is for, and that's what hopefully this talk is helping you with. And so always tell us how we can help, you know? If we can help you promote a plugin or a launch or something, let us know. Send us an email, and we can try to help, right? If maybe we're doing something that you think isn't enabling you, tell us, right? Just the more feedback you can give us, the better. Developer relations at Atlassian.com will go to the team. My personal email address is there. And otherwise, are there any questions?